Alright, for this last recording, I'm going to go ahead and create the sticker that sits inside here. And then I'm also going to add all the little stickers that are going to be inside here, and then additionally create an initial geometry with the slider that's inside. And we'll get into that later in this video. But I just want to show you the stickers that I created. How many of these are? There are 8 items, so I created 8 different stickers. So I did an AM, FM one for the top of the slider. There's a band sticker it's a triangle. There's an ear word. Then I have the front sticker and front sticker alpha. I'll get into that later. There's an L volume, there's an R volume, and the line. I created a line one by itself because I can use that same line in between the knobs themselves right here, one right there, and then where the ear is itself. Alrighty. So I'm going to turn off this physical sky. And I'm just going to show you real fast in Photoshop what they look like. Here's the line. Again, there's no white background. It's all going to say it's saved into a PSD. And then there's the band. The band is going to be, the word band is going to be deleted out. AM, FM, stereo. I might have to edit this to maybe get this angle correct. Depending on what the angle I created the slider, but I'm pretty sure I did a 45-degree angle, so that's where that is. I have the word ear, then I have the R volume, so this is going to go on the right side, and then the L volume, which is going to go on the left knob, and then I have my front. Let me open up the front sticker so you can see front sticker color. So I have my front sticker color. Again, I didn't really add every single little thing for this particular video. I will eventually go in and recreate the everything else that's inside this sticker. But as far as placement goes, this will work. And actually, I think now that I'm looking at it, this angle is a little more sharp upwards, but for the all intents and purposes, this is going to work perfectly fine. So here is the sticker that we're going to use for the color. And you're going to see that there is a transparent layer right there, and then we have the alpha right here. So you can see where there's going to be white is going to be off, and then if we don't have that correct, we can always switch it that way too. Alrighty. Actually, but I think we'll use this for the transparency, because instead of an alpha, we'll be able to have it look like it's glossed over. All right, so back to Cinema 4D. Okay, so again, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create. We're just going to go one by one as we need them, and I'm going to go ahead and create. Actually, I'm not going to create anything. I'm going to take the front material, and I'm just going to copy and paste it. And I'm going to name this one ear. Okay. Drop the render settings. Okay, so inside the ear, we're going to go ahead and for the color, we're going to add the word ear. Open. Okay, that works perfectly good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select the boombox body. There we go. And we're going to select this polygon right here. And then I'm going to assign the word ear to it. Now, we might end up having to, I'll have to look into it to see how it's going to work. Maybe with one of these textures we'll actually have to, we're going to do that anyways. We're going to go ahead and add the word ear into the alpha. on the alpha, and then that should work perfectly fine. Alright, and I turned off the soft so I don't have any fuzzing going on right over there. And then we're going to go ahead and select this texture tag here, and then we're going to go ahead and get our texture option to here, and we're going to change it from projection type UV into flat, and we're gonna scale this down quite a bit. Now I made this a 520 512 image, and the reason why I did it really big is the fact that it will hold a better format. Now I see that I have on this particular one that maybe is it the specular. Let's try to turn off the specular. Okay, so for all these additional ones, and we can actually don't have to technically use the same material, and we'll do that for the next one. Okay, so I got that all edited, took out the specular, took out the reflection, that's fine. So now it's just the color. I'm going to go ahead and select this thing, and then I'm going to make sure that my repetitions are set to 1 only. Alright, and then that way they're not going to tile weirdly, and then we're going to go ahead and rescale these again. Keep scaling these. Scaling it down. Alright. So let's see how they are. It's pretty small. So I'm going to make this pretty small. Now, like I said, I did make it on a large texture, and the reason why I did is that if it gets real close, it's going to be really a good quality. If you're seeing that your stickers are kind of fuzzy, then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to bump up how big of a image it is. So if you're doing a 512, then you'll do a 1024, and if you need it bigger, it'll be a 2048. I did make this big one a 2048, just so that I can have a lot of texture or pixel space for that. Okay, so we got that ear. Now next thing we need is that line that's going to go down. So we'll make a line one. So we're going to make a new material, add texture, line, open, and then I'm going to name it line. I'm going to use this texture on this front part quite a bit. Turn off the specular. We're going to take this image, we're going to add it to the alpha. Alright. Turn on the alpha. So now I have a line. Alright. So this is going to go onto this texture tag. Oops. Add this right here. It's on this texture tag. Now, since I want to work with I want to make sure I'm working on the same texture tag, I'm just going to kind of move it over after I sign it, just so that I know peace of mind that these two are part of that texture tag. Alright. And then I'm going to go ahead and change it to UV to a flat. Then I'm going to change the repetitions to 1. Alright. I go with my texture mode. Now I'm going to have to scale this down quite a bit. Alright, there we go. Oops, gotta go the other way. Alright, what we can do here is get it right here, and then we can bring it in a little bit. Now I'm just going to try to make it a little bit smaller to the right width. It's relatively thick. And I bring this up a little bit, and then we're just going to shrink it height-wise. I actually might have to shrink it a little bit with the width. So yes, this is going to be a lot of playing around with this. And the other thing here is that this actually does cut out before that little lip goes on. So okay, there we go. We'll squish it down a little bit. Move it over. Between the A, there we go. So there we go. We got that, and it does cut off a little bit before that. And I actually might bring it out just a tiny bit more. Alright, and bring them over a little bit. Okay, cool. So that is now set for that ear one. Next thing that we're going to do, we're going to continue going from left to right, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new material, and we're going to call this material AM-FM. Alright, turn off my specular. On the color one, we're going to go ahead and add the texture of the AM-FM, open, and then we're going to take this and throw it back into the alpha. There we go. And turn on the alpha. That's all good. Turn off soft. Invert it. There we go. And then I'll just make sure that this one is also soft and inverted, so that way it's not a fuzzy edge to it. Alright, so now we need to go ahead and select the boombox with the faces, and we're going to select both of these faces here. Then we're going to take our AM-FM and apply it to it. Now we're going to go continue over. Here we go. We have this AM-FM, and we're going to change it from UV mapping to flat, and from repetitions of 0 to 1, so that means it's only going to be wear once. And then we're just going to go ahead and scale it down. I'm just going to make it pretty tiny, so that it goes in there. And this is, I believe I made this one, was a 1024 image. This is either 512 or 1024. So I'll bring this in. So it looks like my angle is off a little bit, and that's a good thing I kept my Photoshop file, so I can just readjust it. And so it might be a lot of going back and forth between Photoshop and Cinema 4D back and forth once I kind of line this up. And FM, this looks like it's actually going to be a lot longer. So not only do we need to, and these will be a little bit shorter, but we're going to have a little bit leniency with it, but we're going to try to readjust this. Actually might keep it with the soft on there because it comes out a little bit stronger. Alright, so we'll go ahead and select the, is it this one right here? And I'm going to go ahead and rotate this, just so you can kind of see the process of what you would have to really do. So we're going to transform it. Escape. Cancel. There we go. It's kind of like right here. So we're going to hit return, and then we'll hit file, save, and then we'll go to this one right here. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to reload the image. Now that should also reload it right there as well. Okay, so I'll just hit it twice, and then we'll see how it's going on over here. This should update automatically, but if this doesn't, then we'll change this to a flat. Plane, so we can kind of see what how it's going to be. And we'll just select it. So that was AM/FM. Yes. And then I just might just throw this back into there. Clear this. There we go. And then we'll throw the AM/FM open again. Yes. And then let's try to clear this out. Looks like it's not loading the texture. Alright, so we can edit the image and then see if we can, there we go. Enter, file, save, and see if that will. There we go. That was interesting. Go ahead and we'll take this color inside here and throw it right there. So that looks like it is now the correct angle. With that, I just had to, for some reason, I had to click edit image, it opened up in Photoshop, since it's PSD. And then it went with that. Maybe if I edit the image again, and then I go to the play around with that, I'd be able to get it working. But for this tutorial, this will be perfectly fine. I'll probably go around and continue fixing that. So that works pretty fine. I actually might go and inside this the thing and just fix the sizing of it. But that works pretty good for the placement. Okay, so the next one that we're going to go over is we're going to create this a band texture. I'm going to call this band, B-A-N-D. There we go. Band, open. And we're taking this band and throw into the alpha right there. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select the body, get the polygon face, and we're just going to stick it onto this one. And so we're going to throw the band right there. Then we have to go ahead and select the band texture tag over here, change it to flat, only have 1 repetitions on there, and then we just need to see if we can get the soft turned off. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and now resize this. We're going to go ahead and sorry about that. I was just checking some different things. So I turned off soft, so I got a little bit of fuzzies away. I might turn that back on depending on what it looks like here. We're going to just resize this. So it's pretty small. And because I have this pretty good size, I might, since this is a triangle, I can probably definitely get the shape of it working with the size. For some reason, alright, there we go. And we'll stick this on here. Just gotta double check, make sure I didn't accidentally do something here. I turn off my specular. Make sure the specular's turned off. Yep, so the specular is making it a little bit gray. Alrighty, and see if we can turn that. There, that works good. Turned off the soft, so I got that soft edges turned off. Actually, I don't like the soft on this one. Probably pick a different font for those pictures. Anyway, so we got this, and for the band itself, I'm just gonna since this is really a triangle, and I can really fix it, make sure that the angle is the correct one by just resizing it a little bit. All right, we'll stick it right there. That looks pretty good, and that works with the list. Direction that's going. That's pretty good for me. Now continue going forward. The next step is another line. We're going to select the body here, the polygon body. We're going to select this face again. We're going to add a line to it. And then we're going to go ahead and do the flat. And this is just this whole process here. So we're going to make sure that we make the repetitions 1. There we go. And then we just need to scale down that, and then we want to scale down the thickness of it. And let's move it around. thickness of it. So I just need to scale the height of it. So we'll put it right here, and then we're going to scale the height so that it's not as tall. That works pretty good. Now we'll move this over just a little bit so that we don't run into issues here with these two. Alrighty. Sorry about that. Alrighty, so the next one that we're going to go continue going from left to right, we're going to go ahead and try to make a new, or we're going to make a new material. This is going to be L volume. And turn off our specular, add the color. I'm going to select the L volume texture that we have. I'm going to take this, add it to the alpha. I'm going to invert it, turn off soft, turn on the alpha. Now it works pretty good. Now we're going to go select the body, select the faces, and on this one we're going to select these two. And yeah, boy, this is going to be fun. I'm going to go ahead and actually I might have to move my bool over like a little bit, but we'll see if we don't have to do that. Okay, so we're going to take the L volume and we're going to apply it here. We're going to change the UV mapping to flat, change the repetition to 1, and then we got to scale it down and whatnot and readjust it. So to get my texture, pull out, keep scaling it down. Now this one we're probably going to really try to get it to be a, since we're dealing with a circle here, we're going to want to make sure that the tile U and tile V are going to be in the same size. But we're just going to kind of play with this a little bit beforehand. Alright. Now I might have to that really went. Okay, so we're trying to move it again. There we go. And then we'll try to go ahead and scale it up a little bit. Scale it and move it. So that we're getting close. Just gotta scale and move it a little bit more. Now at this point, if I could just kind of get it set up a little bit side here. There's a couple things I could do to fix this. I might have to go back in the image and readjust the placing of these words. Maybe make them a little smaller, just so that I don't worry about them intersecting with the other one. I'm going to try to make it just a tiny bit bigger. Hole, so I had to make the hole a little bit too big. So we can, I actually might go into that mix. Looks like I made that hole a little bit too big. So where is that? That is front knob insert. Alright. Alright, and scale this down a little bit. Alright, size. And we're going to change this to, let's try 15 on these two. So that'll make that down a little bit smaller. That works perfectly fine. I'll have to go ahead and make this one 15 as well. So I don't have to worry about it being too small. So that's an issue that I kind of had, that you might sometimes have to go back and forth between your texture and whatnot. Because like I said, there's no real science to to what you're doing. A lot of it you're just eyeballing stuff. Okay, anyways, so I got that working, and now I'm going to try to move this around so that it'll fit. Okay, so where's this circle here? Right there, so right there. And then I just need to make sure that my texture, this number, so copy and paste it into this one, and then we'll see how this works. That looks like it might work for what we want. I might have to, a couple things I might have to do is I might have to go into my texture here and readjust the, not move my circle, but I might move my, might make the volume thicker blacks. I might make this a little bit thicker blacks. I might move it up or closer to that particular object, so I don't have to run into issues with. Looks like I might have to move this left to right a little bit too. And then maybe up a little bit. Alright. If you have issues where you can't really see what's going on, see if we can change it to turn it to line mode. Then we can kind of really see where all my edges are. Okay, that looks like it would work a little bit. We can actually make it a little bit smaller. So instead of, let's do 5.5. Oops, 5.5 tab 5.5 tab. Alright, so make it a little bit smaller, and I have to readjust it a little bit so that I don't have to worry about my my stickers kind of falling off of the top. Okay, so that works like it's pretty good. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to yeah, I'm gonna have to I would have to readjust this thing, and we'll actually do that real fast. We're gonna edit this image, and I'm going to select this, and I'm gonna make this a font that's a little bit thicker. That'll work. So that's the popular SDN, and we'll do this one, same thing. The popular. And this one to the max. There we go. And then what I want to do is I want to select the max and the min, and I'm going to move them up, and then probably going to, yeah, that's fine. I'll bring the L volume down too. too, so I'll get a little bit more. Alright, go ahead and do file save, and then go out here, reload the image, there we go. So it looks like a little bit better for what we want. Now, actually I might go back here, and I'm going to select these two guys. I'm going to bring them down more, and then I'm going to bring them in closer together. So, okay, there we go. Max. Okay. The reason why I'm doing that is because I actually need a little more space, and on my model I don't have as much space, so I probably could have brought this whole this texture and this texture and this bool and everything over a little bit too. If I continue to have issues, I might end up doing that. But we're going to go ahead and reload this again, min-max, there we go. That works fine for me. Alright, so continue on, going from left to right, we're going to go ahead and select our boombox body. We get the polygon selection tool, and then we're going to select this face, and we're going to use that for the line. And again, we're going to make this line a flat. We're going to go ahead and make the repetitions ones, and then we're just going to play around with the size again. We could actually probably select, was it tiles U is 7.5 and then 5. So I'm going to do 7.5, 5, enter. And then we'll just readjust the placement of it to where it's in between. And I might play around with this a little bit more and kind of get it in between once I get this next one on. Okay, so that one works pretty good. And then for this one, we're going to go ahead and select the face again, and then we're going to create a new material. This is going to be called R volume. Turn off the specular, turn on the alpha. For the color, we're going to go ahead and select the R volume. That works fine. Then we take this and drop into that texture. I'm going to turn off the soft. Have to add the invert. There we go. That works perfectly fine. Then we're going to go ahead and go over to apply to this face. Now we're going to go ahead and make sure we check our texture tag stuff here. We're going to make it flat. Make the repetitions 1, tab 1. And then what I'm going to do here is, since I created this these two materials with the same size of the rotation thing, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this length, the tiles, so it is 5.5, so we'll V, enter, and then all I have to do now is get it placed where I want it to be placed. Now I might have to re-edit the image, because we want to have these things to be the same size. And I might try to get the right V, so the V is the height. So copy, paste. So that's in the correct height. And then I just might bring those down a little bit. I'm going to bring those down to okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to be a little bit tricky here, is I'm going to take my L1, we're going to make this an R, and then we're going to go ahead and on the, where is the R volume? So I'm going to take this one that I have here, and I'm going to add to the L volume. There we go. Hold on a second. R volume. There we go. And then we're just going to place this over that and turn off the visibility for that. File, save as, select the R volume, save it. Okay, I want to replace it. Okay, hold on. Let's close this. File, save as, R volume, save. Yes, we want to replace it. Okay. And then we're going to go over here to the R volume texture, and we're going to reload the image. And there we go. Set up exactly how the other one is. So those are done. So like I said, I'm going to go and select this one right here, the middle one. I'm just going to kind of readjust it so that they fit somewhere inside there. Okay, that looks like it's working pretty good. So we'll take a render region render of this real fast. So we'll get a render region, and we're just going to render these out just real fast so we can kind of see how it's going to look. Do have it's not going to render anything because I turned off the physical sun. So let's turn that on. We'll get the render region out. We'll just kind of see how this looks. This should be relatively fast. I mean, the reason why it's not going to be too fast is because I do have a lot of nice render settings turned on, so it's going to be a little while. But as I can see, it looks like it's coming out pretty good. Okay, cool. Let me just turn off this global illumination and the ambient occlusion. We'll do that again. This should take not as long. Yeah, this is rendering a little bit faster here. And I'll just kind of take this as a that it's actually looking pretty good with this different settings. Okay, so I don't have to keep you guys on here for forever while that renders, because that can take. I did a render of the front, and I think it took about like 5 minutes for that render. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to go ahead and add the sticker to this face here. And what we're going to do after we do that, we're going to go ahead and create a geometry for the slide. But you're going to see how that's going to work here in a second, or in a little bit. Okay, so first we're going to go ahead and create a new material. We're going to add the front sticker color to that. And then what we're going to do is select the body, boombox body, and then I'm going to select the polygons that I want to apply it to. And then I'm going to go and just drag and drop on there. And then what I need to do is I need to change from UV mapping to actually, now we'll just do the flat one, just so that we can keep it with everything working. And we're going to change the tileability off, and then we're just going to resize it so that it fits perfectly well onto our sticker area. This still needs a little bit more adjusting left and right. Let's see, okay, so this almost is alright, there we go. So that's good, and then we just have to shrink it down a little bit and keep moving it around. We can probably get this edge right here. It's a little bit difficult to see here. And I'm going to go and have it overlap just a tiny bit, so that way I can really try to get it working. Okay, cool. And I'll just make it a little bit taller. Sorry, a little bit taller. And let's bring it up just a little bit so that white isn't showing anymore. Alright, cool. So now I have that sticker, but then what we want to do is we're going to go into this material here. And instead of using the alpha, we're going to use the transparency here. And for the texture, we're going to use the front sticker alpha. I know it said alpha, but I just wanted to name it something that makes sense to me. So what we're going to do here is we're going to right click over here onto the refraction, show help. And this is kind of, it's not really a glass, it's kind of like a, it's really a plexiglass. So we'll do, let's do acrylic glass. So let's do the 1.491. 1.491. Alright, so I get a little bit of, it'll give me a little bit of shine right there. When I render it, render this region, should give me a shine to it. And then the other thing that's real nice about it is that if there's any type of reflectance to it, we'll actually add some reflection to it as well. So right now this will give you a transparency, and then if there's reflection to it as well, and we'll add that reflection, we'll bring down the brightness quite a bit to it. We'll go ahead and do a test render real fast. So what this is going to do with the plexiglass or with the texture stuff like that is, instead of this being a just a hole is going to give the illusion of it being like a clear glass onto that spot right there. Alright, so I can have that. And so now the trick, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select this texture tag, and I'm going to add this to a new layer. Alright? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it to this layer, and then I'm going to solo this. Let's see if that was not wanting to work. Probably because of all the different layers that I have on here. So and that, and also because this is in a middle layer. So let's remove this. Okay, so I bet you if I solo that, this is not gonna work. Okay, but we'll just work in reverse. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to create the inside housing of this particular slider. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to create a cube, and that's super big, and I'm going to shrink it down quite a bit. I'm going to change the size of it, or make it editable, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to get it to be the same width of said hole. Alright, and we can make this real short too as well. This does not have to, and what if we want to be halfway in, that might help us a little bit. Alright, so that looks like it will be, I mean, we can have it have a little bit bigger. Actually, that might be a good idea. Just be a little bit taller and have it start a little bit farther down. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and select the face. We'll get rid of this face right here. Delete that. And then we are going to select this polygon face, move it over here. And then we're going to go and extrude this. And I'm just going to extrude it just a little bit. That's fine. Select this face, delete that. And then I'm just going to kind of bring inside here. And I'm going to then take these two edges here, and we're just working on getting the shape of this hole. Alright, let's select this face again. I'm going to extrude it out just a little bit, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to bring it all the way up here. Get it right there. Select this face here, get rid of that. Works perfectly well, and then we're just going to readjust these edges here, just so that they make the correct shape that we want it to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit, the width of it as a whole. So it's not really a deep piece. And then what I want to do is I want to really kind of bring it in so that it just barely is no longer sticking out. with it being a little bit wider, we're not going to worry about it being able to see inside of it, inside the boombox where we don't want to. So there we go. I'm going to make this the same material. We'll use the same material as the back, so it's kind of close, but it'll kind of give you a difference between this color and then that color too. Alright, once we have that created, then what we can do is we can create, it has a little red LED on there, so we can go ahead and create a capsule, and we're going to cut down a lot of the inside of the capsule itself. So go there, and then we're going to change the height segments down to that. We don't need as many cap segments because it's going to be pretty small, so I'll keep 4 right there. I'm going to make it editable. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And then I'm going to shrink this down. And it needs to be shrunk down even more because it's a very, very tiny LED that fits in this corner over here. And I'll probably have to readjust the size of it as well. Again, because it is a very tiny LED. So let's readjust the size, keep going. That's pretty small and sticking out just enough that it'll kind of maybe push it a little bit more. Okay, so we got that little red LED. What we can do is we can make this a material and we'll make it red. And then we'll do this red LED. We can add a little bit of reflection to it. Just really tiny because it's kind of glass. We'll add some transparency to it. We're going to make this into let's make a glass. So let's do like 1.5 for the refraction. Alright. Absorption color, we can kind of pick this red. So that should be pretty fine. And then we'll tone down the brightness of it. So it makes it look a little bit thicker. So we can give the look of it being kind of transparent like an LED, but it's a little bit thicker. So we're going to turn down the brightness a little bit. I'm going to just click 1 on the blurriness. Actually, yeah, the second one. There we go. There's that. And then what we need to do is we need to make a slider object for you guys to tune into whatever you want the radio to be tuned into. So we'll go ahead and create our cube real quick, scale this down, make it really small, very, very tiny slider. There we go. That works pretty good. It's too long. There we go. And we're actually going to add the shiny, the metal to it. And then we're going to try to make it a little bit easier before I try to rotate it. I'm going to try to make sure that's the right size in this right here. And it looks like it's too big. So we're going to shrink this down quite a bit. We'll make it a little bit shorter. Now this actually has some shape to it, but we'll use this to, at this point in time, if you wanted to, once you get this the right size that you want it to be, if you want to take it out, continue modeling so that it looks how it is on the thing, then you could. But for this tutorial, we're not going to do that, but we're going to go ahead and move it over inside here, and then we're just going to rotate it to the correct level right there. Alright, so now, if we do a render for it, we're going to render just this part right here. We're gonna have, and you can see right here, because I don't have like different render settings on where you can't really see very much. Once I turn on the physical sun, and we actually get some different light rays coming in different direction, you'll be able to see different things. But right now you have a nice thing. If I wanted to, I could add inside have some waviness to inside the stereo thing. So if I wanted to, I could go inside the transparency level, and then I could always do we had to add a little bit to it. There's some different options you could do to play around with, like the specular and whatnot, to kind of get it however you want it to be. Alright, so also you could probably add a little bit of a bump to it if you wanted to, like, I mean, we could do a noise to it, but really tone down the strength of the bump itself, so like maybe like 2%, like 1%. That way it kind of gives you a little bit of a look of the bump to it. So it kind of gives a little. At that point in time, with it only be like 1%, and the noise, it's really just gonna kind of give a little bit of a wave to this, so that this doesn't look too entirely flat. You could always, if you don't like the noise, you can always change it to, I was really looking for like maybe a wave might work for the bump. Let's see how that kind of works. Oops. Yeah, yep, like so. I just want to add a little bit extra to it, just so that it's not entirely really flat looking. So like the little bit of that's going to give you different lighting values. I mean, like, this is very subtle inside here. This is like the next step to adding your materials to make them a little more realistic. Okay, so other than having to finish this up by rendering, this is the end of the texturing tutorial. Let me turn off the floor so we can kind of look at the ground itself. There we go. So we have everything is done and whatnot. So we can have our little feet that we have. And I'll turn off that shading. So we have our little feet. Also have the multi-coloring going on. We have grays and like the silvers and grays and stuff like that. So that works pretty fine. I do know that it looks like it will be very bland with the color, but once you actually add this into a scene where it can inherit some other colors and stuff like that, it's really going to really pop with how it's going to be. So I think overall that you guys are going to be very happy with your um, actual texturing and model. So, all right, be happy and have a good day.